Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. And today we're getting into another one of, and currently for right now, our last of these segments of videos that we've been doing in regards to women and men's trending topics in regards to finances. And not to say we won't do any more at a later point in time, but for right now, this is the last of the ones that we already kind of had mapped out. So, and this one coming from the perspective of men, this is a topic of theirs that are trending that they feel is an issue that, in regard to finances that they're trying to navigate. And the topic is breaking the money silence, mental health and financial shame. Don't mind that I read a few things off of my laptop in regards to the topic. So jumping into, excuse me, the basis of the topic. While society has grown far more open about mental health, a distinct stigma remains for men when admitting financial vulnerability. A culture of competitive consumerism exacerbated by social media status loops can lead to deep financial isolation. Men are statistically less likely to seek professional financial guidance or talk openly with male peers about credit card debt, low wages, or the crushing anxiety of living paycheck to paycheck. And I'm going to jump right into the key point here. Destigmatizing financial struggle from among male friend groups and curbing doom spending, in quotes, and in parentheses, spending money on short-term status symbols to cope with long-term economic anxiety. So essentially, this really, and I think a big part of it, so I'm going to link it to this. I think a big part of it falls into not only just obviously the social media trends, this and that, but a lot of it falls into dating. And the reason why is because for men, and I'm going to speak from this point because I know this is true and I know that this is the case, for men, the idea of dating obviously is what leads to having a family, which is what gives the man his purpose, which is why he's trying to make money, which is why he's trying to establish himself, which is why he's trying to create a foundation. So that way that he's ready to be able to support a family, whether he meets somebody and if they're in their 20s, you're going to start growing as you're with them. But if you are in your 30s, you're kind of now expected to have things already to a degree because it's like, okay, you should have been kind of working on your life. But in that case, it creates a high level of pressure to already be there and be successful in a world now where it's hard because it's not just about actually having the finances. It starts to become about visually showing that you have it. And there's a big difference between the two because as a lot of people always say that, excuse me, the rich or the wealthy don't always show their wealth. And whether to say that's wrong or right, as far as a thing to do, when you are trying to create, and this doesn't to say, like I said, once again, does not say it's wrong or right in terms of the dating market, that it should be this way or shouldn't be, whatever the case is. But sometimes this is just how it is that you being able to show your value on the surface will help others see, okay, I know his worth. And so we will treat him with respect level equal to his worth. And that is something, especially with social media, that has risen. There's not something that has just risen just for men. Obviously, it's risen for women as well, but not on a financial standpoint, maybe on a beauty standpoint, showing yourself off, constant people who are in the gym, this and that. And even though, like I said, it is a topic for men, but I just want to sidebar for a second to say that social media has made the weight of performing affect everything across the board. So coming back to the topic here, it definitely is a thing where there is that. So the stigma of being able to say, listen, like I'm broke, whether it's in the dating world, for a man to say it to a woman is ultra harsh, but even to say it to other men, if the rest of the men in your circle, especially if, you didn't grow up with them since you were a little kid, maybe you knew them once you were 25 and up, and the whole time you knew them, you were doing pretty good, they were doing pretty good. There's going to be that level of, if you aren't doing so good anymore, you don't want to necessarily tell them and say, listen, guys, I'm not doing so good, I can't go out tonight, because you don't know how they're going to look at you, how they're going to judge you. They might be cool on the surface, but down the line, they might be like, oh yeah, you know what? Nah, it's cool. Like we're not hanging out today, and then they go hang out with their friends, but they don't tell you about it because they know you're the one who can't. You know what I mean? You can't afford it. So there's so many dynamics that can come with that, and a lot of pressure. So sometimes people are not going to share it with their other male friends and their other peers, as they have mentioned here. So jumping into the actionable angles, and then I'm just going to put my own perspective on it after the fact. It says shifting from isolation to peer accountability initiating transparent, low stakes money conversations with close friends, or consulting fee only financial planners to tackle debt constructively. So, excuse me. Sorry, you guys. So, this, like I said, goes back to, it mentions here about having that conversation with friends, but I think that really has to do with, it says close friends. That really has to do, like I said before, between, and I mentioned this in a video a while back. We're going to sidebar a little bit. Friends that you knew since you were like a little kid are different, like say from high school and below, are different than friends you meet when you're like 25 and above. Most of the time when you meet people at 25 and above, it's usually about where you are in life, and they're viewing you as either someone to use, or they're viewing you as an asset, or they're viewing you as, okay, like we're rolling in circles that are our equals. So if you fall behind, it becomes a level of pressure, like I mentioned before. Whereas only your friends that you knew that never wanted you for anything, that when you were a little kid, you guys used to sleep over at each other's house, you used to play, outside sports together until it got dark outside. These are the ones who, they're family to you. They never wanted anything from you other than your friendship. Those are going to be the only ones that you could really come to and say that to. And I'm going to say sidebar too. Make sure you never put your financial burdens on them, because those are going to be the ones who are going to stay there for life. Don't push them away with your financial burdens. Some people do that, and that is the wrong thing to do. But anyway, I digress. So those are the ones you can talk to about it. As far as the weight of it, I would definitely say it's important to get into a space where you try to like not be, and this is where it comes to just strength of character. Try not to care about those burdens. Take the time, grind, get where you have to get to. Whether it's got to be a side business, whether it's about anything like that. So just saving your money, being conservative. Don't go out on the weekends. Once you are where you need to be, the weight of that financial pressure will come off, because now you are where you need to be. So it's better, we'll say at 25 years old, and this could apply to almost any age, but it's better at 25 years old to not go out every weekend, save your money, and in about maybe 2 years when you're 27, that saved money, you were able to put it in investments and stocks. You were maybe able to buy a house. Maybe it's a investment house where you're renting it out. You're living in the basement. Whatever the case is, it's better to do that than spend every weekend. Try to keep up with your friends, keep up in the dating market, keep up with the women, and all of a sudden you're like 2 years past, you have nothing to show for it, but you still feel that pressure of, I got to keep performing. The previous situation is better, where you took those 2 years, you kind of buckled down, you weren't going out as much, but now you invested. Now you're going to have a little bit more spending money. You're going to feel more confident in yourself, because I have something. I don't need to impress nobody, because I know what I have. You know what I mean? Like they say, the silent money. This goes back to the bit I said at the beginning of the conversation, how the wealthy don't have to show anything. Their confidence is going to shine the fact that they might walk out in basic clothes and drive a regular car, nothing exciting, nothing fancy. Meanwhile, they got $2 million inside the bank, and they got, a really nice house that's worth $1 million. Like, the confidence is going to be there, because they know if anyone has to, it comes up in conversation, they don't have to worry about it. So they're not going to flex, because they know it's there. You know what I mean? So my point to that is, buckle down, do what you have to do to get where you have to get to. Also, find a mentor. A male figure mentor, because one thing an older male will be able to tell you that a lot of younger males are not going to realize when they're in that time frame is, when you're 25, you probably feel like, I'm already getting old. I got to hurry up. I got a deadline. I got to get things done. A 40-year-old will tell you, you are so young. You got so much time. Focus on building your money. Don't worry about enjoying it, or necessarily enjoying life to the fullest right now. You will still feel young when you're 30, but if you take those 5 years to save, you're going to enjoy life better at 30 than if you're still trying to run around with your head cut off, trying to make it feel amazing at 25. Save up and make it feel amazing at 30, rather than kind of struggling at 25 until you're 30, because you're trying to have these little moments of fun rather than just putting in the work. We're definitely in an era now, in a time in society where you have to put in the work. So that is something where I think has changed. I'm not going to say it didn't exist before, but it really has got to a point now with rising economy prices that you got to put in the work. You're going to have to sacrifice a couple of years of your fund to really put in that work, so that way you can enjoy yourself later on. So that is probably my biggest side of advice towards this issue that comes up for men right now. And I think that will inherently help your mental health, because I don't think that the answer, and all right, you guys, sorry about that. My battery ran out, so the video got cut mid-video or near the ending of the video. But the thought I was going to finish at before I close everything up is, I don't think the answer is to kind of, when it comes to that mental health situation and all the stress of all that, is to just kind of curdle up and just think, I'm going to take meds, I'm going to just fall into this state of depression, I'm just going to, and think that that solves anything or makes it any bit better. It's not going to change anything. So your best answer to it, like I said before, is buckle down in a space of actually putting in the work, putting in the time, and that's how you get past that struggle. Yes, the pressure is there for you to, evolve or to have all this stuff at as soon as possible, but sometimes it's unrealistic. So sometimes we just got to buckle down, and like I said before, take your early years and use that time to actually just build up. And if it's your later years, same difference. If you have to, don't fall into the pressures of having to be at this certain space, social media, this and that, telling you got to be at this certain space at this certain age, certain time, this and that. Buckle down, so that way, if you're able to put away money, you save, you do what you got to do, you'll be where you need to be later on in life. Anyway, you guys, as always, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.